Okay, we're going to now take a look at some strategic possibilities for the BSG game. And these are some things that I have just kind of invented on my own. They're not part of the game per se, but I think they'll be helpful for you. So first thing I want to do is introduce you to Peter Drucker. I had mentioned him earlier in one of the presentations, but Peter Drucker is one of the most significant thinkers in the area of strategy and management of the 20th century. And he passed away about 6 or 7 years ago, but he lived until age 97 and was still active in the academic community and also in the industry up until the time of his death. And of course he was down at Claremont, and the school there, the graduate school, is the Drucker School of Management. Now, Peter Drucker said that strategy, his definition is that it's the commitment of present resources to future expectations. Drucker is always very terse, so there's always a lot more to be said there than what is in the base words, and you've got to mull them over and think about it for a long period of time. So I'm going to leave you with that definition to ponder on your own. Here's my working definition of strategy. It's a comprehensive plan to achieve a desired long-term outcome using available resources. So when we look at competitive strategy and look at strategy for the game, there are 3 different levels at which strategy takes place. There's strategy at the corporate level, and that's where the CEO or president makes the direction for where the company is going to go. That's his sole prerogative. He's the only guy that makes that final definition or final direction setting. Beneath that, there's an area called competitive strategy, and that's what this game is all about. We're going to do things to be more effective competitively. How are you going to interact with the marketplace to achieve that corporate strategy? That's part of the question that we have to answer. And how do we respond to what the other guys are doing? Because we, unlike some of the senior level strategy or corporate strategy thinking, when you're dealing at an operating level, you have to be aware of the conflict that you have with other competitors in the marketplace. And this is by far the most important part of the game, is how you will interact on a competitive basis for the competitive strategy. Finally, there's a level called functional strategy, and here is where each operating center, for example, marketing, finance, and production. Every company has those 3, whether even a service company produces some kind of a product that goes to the customer. And some people like to add a couple other functional areas that are important, like IT or human resources or R&D. That's up to you as an executive in your company. But each of those functional areas is going to have some kind of a written plan that describes how they're going to support the overall corporate strategy. Now, as I indicated, the BSG game deals almost exclusively with competitive strategy. And the person that probably knows more about this than anybody else is Michael Porter. And of course you have the book Understanding Michael Porter by Joan Magretta, and you will be able to follow along with his thoughts that are applicable to the game. And his basic premise is that competitive strategy is about being different. That what we don't want to do is to go head to head. We want to find a unique position, and we can do this by choosing to perform activities differently, or by performing different activities. Now, when Porter uses the word activities, what he's referring to is any discrete element within the company that we can look at where either value is created or costs are incurred. That's an activity, and he focuses very much on trying to squeeze as much cost out of activities and to enhance the value of an activity to make it more profitable. And you do this in order to find your uniqueness. So let's contemplate that for a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back and go further.